Previously on Hunting Hitler.
We're going to have to uncover the network that would have helped Hitler get away.
The network strategy, or asset mapping, we always start by tracking a target's family.
My coming to Berchtesgaden was very strange. Somebody organized the exfiltration of Hitler's two sisters. Why do they feel safe in Berchtesgaden?
We have a huge steel door blocking us from getting access underneath Hitler's personal home.
Behind that door, you would find a vast labyrinth of underground tunnels, 400 feet of solid rock above you.
If Adolf Hitler walks out of that tunnel and he gets on a train, where's the next stop?
So this is from the U.S. Army. At this time, the decision had been taken to divide the ministries in two parts.
They're splitting up. Hitler could have gone north or he could have gone south. We have to look at both routes.
Look at the size of this massive structure.
This is the size of a small town.
What is this, like an operating room? This is definitely a hospital and a perfect cover to hide some high-value target.
Hitler came to visit when she was working there, and she had to take off Hitler's coat. He was here more than once.
What house? What structure? This place right on the lake.
I'd like to go have a look at that house.
I have never seen so much redundancy built into an organization. I have never seen escape routes like this.
They have planned for every contingency.
Using asset mapping, the same strategy used to dismantle the leadership of Al-Qaeda and ISIS, 21-year CIA veteran Bob Baer and former terrorist targeting officer Neda Bakos have identified two escape routes that could have gotten Adolf Hitler out of Europe after World War II. While one team investigates Hitler's potential southern escape route in Berchtesgaden, Germany, Bob and Neda focus in on Hitler's potential northern escape route through Hohenlohe, where a declassified U.S. Army file places Hitler at a possible lakeside safe house at the same time that the official record states he was in his Berlin bunker preparing to commit suicide.
This northern route is absolutely fascinating. It's Himmler's compound, Hitler's personal guard, the head of the SS. It's enormous. That operated as a hospital that they knew, according to the Geneva Convention, it was not going to be bombed.
Let's not forget we have a file that places Hitler at a lake by Hohenlohe, and then another eyewitness told us specifically there was a house by the lake where Hitler came to visit.
What we've seen is a pattern wherever we've been that high-level Nazis cared about their personal comfort. If you're going to move Hitler through here, it's going to be someplace that's comfortable enough, protected enough, out of the public eye. I want to get the team to that house as soon as we can. Let's see if we can find some evidence that Hitler used this as a northern escape route.
Villa by the lake. The windows and the balconies and the glazed-in areas, they're obviously bedrooms.
Along Hitler's potential northern escape route, at a massive Nazi compound in Hohenlohe, former U.S. Marshals Commander Lenny DePaul and investigative journalist Gerard Williams arrive at a secluded villa on the property to determine if this could have been a location Hitler used as a launching point for his escape after the war. The team uses the cover of night to minimize their exposure.
If I'm on the run and I'm a fugitive, I would die to have a place like this. This massive compound was a medical military facility, but the villa in itself to me is completely different from anything else I saw on this compound. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's well hidden, sitting right on the water. Certainly a perfect spot to put somebody in for a few days. Now, we need to get into this villa to see if there's any evidence whatsoever that Adolf Hitler himself could have possibly stayed here. Here we go. Man, look at this place, Gerard. Thinking back about 70 years ago and who was in here and what they were doing. Whoa, incoming bats. Let's go this way. Let's take a quick look at everything. staircase.
It's quite an ornate staircase, though.
Yeah.
Lacquered handrails. It's more like a grand house.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stories up.
Just feels like posh accommodation.
Look at this room. It's kind of a nice looking floor, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is where the higher echelon resided.
It's pretty obvious that this is something more ornate and lavish than the rest of the administrative and hospital buildings that we've been walking through. It feels more like a palatial family home. It's safe, it's secure, we're full of bloody SS. If you're thinking about an escape route, this is a great place to come.
If any high-ranking Nazi officers or Hitler himself was going to stay somewhere on the compound, this would be the place.
Ooh, hello. There's an ensuite bathroom. Yeah, and then look at the walls. It's the first time we've seen decorative tile work.
Yeah. Look at this hole. This is probably where the shower and the... oh. Hold on, look at this. Wait a minute. What is this thing? Look at this, Gerard.
There's a crest, maybe even a date. It could be a medicine bottle.
God knows what it is, but it's certainly something. Seeing ornate features, opulent areas in this villa, it certainly isn't a place that a low-level Nazi officer is going to stay. This was definitely set up for somebody with expensive taste. Knowing what type of medicine that could have possibly been in this bottle is a huge clue and will certainly tell me what kind of person would have stayed in this place. We'll ship this stuff back and
see what they say.
See what happens.
What we have is a place you could put Hitler.
Bob and Nada review the findings from Hitler's potential northern escape route in Hohenlohe, Germany.
If the decision is made for him to flee north, it's absolutely logical to me that he would go here.
Also finding this medicine bottle. I think he may have been somewhat of a hypochondriac setting up medicine in case he ended up in any one of these facilities.
Yeah, if it is the same sort of medicine we found at Missiones, it's a red flag.
Previously in the investigation, the team uncovered medicine in a Nazi compound in Misiones, Argentina.
Most of the medicines are for the stomach problems.
It was consistent with the type of medication that Adolf Hitler was known to be taking.
I want to know what's in that bottle. You know, for anybody who's doing classic manhunting, there's nothing like forensics. It's something you can't mess with. That kind of specific detail about a medicine could tell us if Hitler planned to be there.
While the team waits for test results from forensics laboratory Microtrace, Bob and Nada shift their focus to Hitler's potential southern escape route in Berchtesgaden, Germany, where a declassified U.S. Army report revealed that General Eisenhower directed his troops during the final days of the war.
This is the end of the war. We know a lot of high-level Nazis left Berlin and headed to Berchtesgaden. You had a strategically important position in the Alps. You have extensive bunkers.
We also have this fully functioning government headquarters. And there's train tracks leading right up to the exits.
He just could have walked out the door and been gone.
This is an easy escape route.
The question is, what happened? We never learned from history a battle for Berchtesgaden. If Hitler escaped the southern route, what happens when the Allies arrive and what do they find?
In all my years of gathering and analyzing intelligence, I can tell you, there's nothing more important than getting it from the source.
U.S. Army Green Beret Mike Simpson lands in Bay City, Michigan, to meet with two veterans of the 3rd Infantry Division, the first Allied troops to enter Berchtesgaden, a potential key location along Hitler's southern escape route.
The investigation has led us to multiple points around the globe, but for the first time, it's leading us to a place right here in the continental United States. There are many things that archival records and photographs will not tell you. That's why it's important to hear exactly what was going on from the point of view of the individual soldier during the liberation of Berchtesgaden.
Private John Miller and Sergeant Ross Brown were in their early 20s when they marched into Berchtesgaden on May 4th, 1945.
Gentlemen, I understand that you were among the first soldiers there. What can you tell me about that?
That day, before we went to Berchtesgaden, we were pushing it hard, they were. When we got to the river, Germans blew the bridge. Then I heard it, kaboom, you know. Well, there goes the bridge.
Yeah.
So we were held up for about 2 hours.
So the Germans blowing that bridge was a significant delay tactic for someone or something.
Yeah.
And then we got down to Berchtesgaden, and there was no fight.
Were there any even harassing ambushes or sniper fire or landmines?
No, we didn't have any trouble going up at all.
None of that?
Not at Berchtesgaden, no.
No? So you think not even a shot fired?
No. Some jeeps, our scouts ahead of us, said there was no Germans. And what happened to them, I don't know. I have no idea.
Interesting. There was a German delay, and then Berchtesgaden was a virtual ghost town by the time the 3rd Infantry arrived. Someone was buying time. Logically, that delay could have been used to get a high-value target, such as Hitler, out of Berchtesgaden.
The 3rd Infantry Division arrives in Berchtesgaden. It's a total ghost town.
Bob Baer and Neda Bakos review the intel from their investigation into Hitler's potential southern escape route in Berchtesgaden, Germany.
The question is, where did the Nazis end up going to after Berchtesgaden? Let's look at the map. Down here is Berchtesgaden. We've got Austria on all 3 sides. So as Allied troops start to move in, Hitler really doesn't have a choice except to move into Austria.
Hitler would have known it's a friendly country. That's his turf right there. That's where he got his start.
In 1938, 1 year before the beginning of World War II, Nazi Germany peacefully annexed Austria in an event known as the Anschluss. The union of the 2 countries was an important objective for Adolf Hitler, who was born and raised in Austria, in a town just 40 miles from Berchtesgaden.
People on the run, when they run out of options, go home. Saddam Hussein, when he fled Baghdad, went back to his village. And I confronted those people, asked the most basic questions, and they refused to answer them. And that gives you a certain security.
Look at this. Summary of Field Agent, Austria. Our informants helped us pinpoint the mountain town of Altesee. We located many Nazis who had fled to Altesee. Altesee could be the center of the escape route in Austria. And look at this. It's only about 36 miles from Berchtesgaden. That's an easy commute. So the question is there an infrastructure in place that Hitler could use to move through there safely and securely?
Exactly. If Hitler was going to flee through Altesee, he would need someone locally to hide him and protect him. Because at this point, he knows he's being hunted, and now he has to go clandestine.
Right.
We need to get a team out there right away to see if Hitler had the support to escape through Altesee.
Look at all this natural protection you have around you.
Oh, yeah.
All these mountains are ideal.
Tracking Hitler's potential southern escape route, U.S. Army Green Beret Mike Simpson, World War II historian James Holland, and their local contact Katja Seebaum land at a lookout point 2,000 feet above Altesee, Austria.
So this is Altesee.
Well, you've got the village of Altesee right there. You've got the lake spread out in front of you, the dead mountains all around us.
I look at this from a strategic view, and I think of how difficult it would be for an advancing force to get up in here. You're gonna have to take the path of least resistance, which is how we drove up here. So essentially, there's one way up.
Yep.
But once you get here, there's not just one way out. If you're the Nazis fleeing, there's
plenty of ways to sneak off into the hills. Strategically, this is really ideal.
Absolutely. Everyone fled here. Just in the salt mine over there was where they stored the 6,500 paintings, the sculptures, looted from all over Europe, brought here to safety.
Incredible. Hitler had been preparing to create a huge art gallery. So he basically stole large numbers of priceless works of art as the Nazis conquered various territories at the start of the war.
So this was like a gigantic Alpine safety deposit box, is what it sounds like. That cache of art in the mines tells me that Altasee was of very high importance to the Nazis. But what we don't know is if this would have been a viable stopping point for the escape of Adolf Hitler. I need more information at this point. I need to talk to some people. So a lot of what we're seeing in the main town is exactly as it would have appeared in 1945.
The team makes their way into the town of Altasee, where their contact has secured a meeting with a local woman, Christine Weissenbacher, who may have information on Nazi activity in the area after the war.
I understand you've lived here all your life, is that right?
Sie haben ihr ganzes Leben hier gewohnt, nicht
Ja,
wahr?
ich bin da geboren und seitdem bin ich da.
She was born here and has lived here ever since.
So can you remember this extraordinary period at the very end of the war, sort of April, May 1945?
Ja.
When the Nazis came, her father was one of the men who took a team of oxen to the train station and brought all the stolen artwork into the salt mines.
No. What was the extent of the Nazi presence here in Altasee after the war?
The village was full of Nazi officers, but she, as a child, really only noticed the ones right next door. They lived in the Villa Carey, just right up there. She says it was very, very secret who was at the villa and what they were doing because she says they were governing from there.
So the Villa Carey up on the hill was the Nazi headquarters here in Altasee. Is that true?
Ja, da haben sie eine Befehle gegeben.
How amazing.
Was there any one of them that just stuck out in your mind?
Und ja, in Dorf unten, da hat der Kaltenbrunner.
I heard the name Kaltenbrunner.
Yes.
That's major.
We're talking about Ernst Kaltenbrunner. He's the top man in the entire Nazi police and intelligence network. One of the inner circle of Hitler, number 2 in the SS. It's not just that Kaltenbrunner was here, he actually had an operational headquarters here. What this tells me is that if Adolf Hitler had wanted to escape through here, his security would have been guaranteed.
You should take a look at this. We got this in from Microtrace, the lab that analyzed what was in that bottle we found at Hohenlohen.
Bob and Nada review the findings from Hitler's potential northern escape route through Hohenlohen, Germany, where a declassified document places Hitler at a Nazi compound 6 days before he was believed dead in Berlin.
Look at this drawer.
At the compound, the team uncovered a medicine bottle in Hitler's possible safe house.
The jar contains a mixture of 2 compounds and a small amount of oil. Together, the compounds were used as laxatives or antiseptics to treat the stomach. Stomach medicine. This is what we found in Misiones. A coincidence, maybe, but the fact is, Hitler, we know, was suffering from stomach ailments. Did he have anything to do with this bottle? We don't know. But you look at the totality of evidence we have, and you really have to wonder.
That certainly adds to the picture that Hitler had planned on going to Hohenlohen.
Everything we're seeing from Hohenlohen to Argentina, Misiones, we see preparations to move somebody very important to the Nazis, somebody who needed protection and had medical cares. And I don't know of anybody that fits that description except Adolf Hitler. There are too many coincidences to ignore here. I think that every piece of evidence we have suggests that Hohenlohen was a funnel for Nazis getting out.
In addition to finding this medicine bottle, we know we have an eyewitness file that places Hitler in Hohenlohe on the 24th of April. But if he was there, what was next?
You know, the end of April, the Russians are converging on northern Germany, and they know it. I mean, you can't stick around. He's got to get out. And the easiest, safest way to get out is by airplane. Let's see what we got. Here we go. MI6. In the vicinity of Hohenlohe, there was an airfield. On 28 April 1945, they had taken Hitler away from the airfield. This is a lead we have to follow up. We have Hitler spotted on the 24th of April in Hohenlohe. 4 days later, we have a separate independent witness identify him leaving by airplane on the 28th of April.
The dates correspond with the other sighting, so the timeline would work. We need to figure out if there's an airfield in the area.
Yeah. Here we go. Here are the major Luftwaffe airfields that could have been used for getting Hitler out. Look at this, Rechlin, right next to Hohenlohe. I want to find out if Rechlin was still serviceable at the end of April.
I agree. We need to investigate whether or not Hitler could have used this airfield to escape northern Germany.
Rechlin Air Base.
In search of evidence that Hitler could have boarded a plane out of Germany at this location as part of his potential northern escape route, Lenny, Gerard, and their translator Teresa make contact with Irvin Schuscheng, the historian for Rechlin Air Base.
So, please thank him again for us. We appreciate his time, and if he could just give us an overview of what went on here.
Ja, wir befinden uns hier auf der Erprobungsstelle der deutschen Luftwaffe.
Everything was tested here, including experimental aircraft. And at the end of the war, the Luftwaffe used it as a base.
As an operational base?
Yes.
Rechlin's a fascinating place. It's the test bed for every single experimental aircraft that the Nazis are producing. And the Nazis are producing lots of experimental aircraft well ahead of their time, ahead of anything the Americans have got.
Throughout World War II, the Nazi Air Force, known as the Luftwaffe, employed 3.4 million engineers and pilots to aggressively develop everything from stealth fighters and the world's first operational helicopters to a prototype for a rocket-propelled bomber that would enter outer space before delivering its payload.
If you're fleeing from Germany at the end of the war, these are the sorts of aircraft you really want to get on.
So there were planes here loaded up with fuel and ready to take off the end of April 1945.
Ja. Von den Flugzeugen, von denen ich jetzt geredet habe, die waren eigentlich vorgesehen, um hier Adolf Hitler auszufliegen.
If the Nazis did make it here, or Hitler himself, when was the last time the experimental aircraft that were here and operational took off from here?
The last flight left here April 28th. 1945, that was the last one.
The last flight out of Rechlin is on the 28th of April.
That's the same day that Hitler was spotted here. This coincidence is too significant to ignore.
How were they escaping on what aircraft?
There are no records here. There was an official instruction given that they were to destroy every plane or to render it unusable in some way or another.
They blew up their own planes.
Yeah. There's an above-ground Luftwaffe bunker here on the premises that was destroyed at the end of the war.
At the end of the war, the Nazis wanted to get rid of any evidence they may have left behind. But whatever plane Hitler would have got out of here on April 28th on, it would have had a fleet of them. If we can find out what's in this bunker, we certainly could find out what type of plane Hitler could have used to get out of this area. Ask him if there's anything left of this bunker that we can take a look at.
Yeah, we can go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Wunderbar. Look at this thing.
It's more like a Cold War aircraft hangar.
The team arrives at the site of a hangar that once stored Nazi experimental aircraft to try and uncover evidence of the type of airplane that could have flown Hitler out of Germany.
Wow. This is it here, right?
Yep.
This is huge. Look at the thickness of that concrete, right?
Yeah.
Typical Nazi fingerprints. My God. This is unbelievable. So this is the roof, right?
Wir laufen jetzt oberhalb der Decke.
Yeah. Yeah, we're walking on the roof right now.
This massive 15,000 square foot concrete bunker was large enough to fit approximately 15 aircraft inside. When it was demolished at the end of the war, the roof fell to ground level, creating cave-like pockets of rubble beneath it.
So this is basically a grave site for an airplane.
This was a thought-through destruction. They destroyed their own planes. But why? What are you trying to hide?
I want to get in this bunker. They were covering something up. What was in there that they had to hide?
With the investigation into Hitler's potential northern escape route underway at Reckland Air Base, Bob and Nada focus on the team along the southern escape route in Altesee, Austria, where a declassified document points to an epicenter of high-ranking Nazis on the run.
This is 36 miles from Berchtesgaden. We're still in the Alps.
Right. And the team found out that there was a ton of Nazi activity here after the war.
Was there any one of them that stuck out in your mind?
Ja, in Dorf unten, da hat der Kaltenbrunner.
That's major.
And the fact that Kaltenbrunner had a command center here means that he had control, obviously, over the area. So this would be another safe place for Nazi officers to retreat to, Hitler possibly using this as a transit point.
Ernst Kaltenbrunner, childhood friend of Hitler, close associate, there we go, and one of his closest advisors at the end of the war. He's head of the Gestapo, the secret police. If there were one person I would trust to get me out of Berlin and an escape route, it would be Kaltenbrunner.
When you're breaking down a network, you're trying to figure out who's important, who's actually the person that could be closest to the high-value target that can help keep them alive, and Kaltenbrunner fits that bill. He seems like a prime target to investigate.
Kaltenbrunner, Altesee. Let's see what we got. All right, there we go. U.S. Secret Service, 1963. A 2,500-pound cache of Kaltenbrunner papers, which are hidden in or near Lake Toplitz, Austria. This file tells us that Kaltenbrunner crosses the border into Austria with more than a ton of paper and dumps it. I think this is huge.
How big would 2,500 pounds be?
That's like a truck full of paper. We've got Kaltenbrunner and his guys throwing stuff in the lake. They have something for future plans that they don't want the Allies or the Russians to know about.
In the case of terrorist organizations, they work very hard to make sure that their information that they have is destroyed before they leave. In this instance, I think it's probably very similar.
What were they hiding?
I mean, it could be information of activities and operations that they were conducting, or names and identities. It's hard to know.
My imagination can run. It had something to do with getting Hitler or other Nazis out and where they were going next. That's the kind of document you would want to destroy. A document that says, here's what we're going to do with Hitler when he's ready to go. And if we can find that one document, we can change history. Here's Altesee, the town. Here's the lake. These documents, if we can get a hold of any of them, they're like the Holy Grail of what the plans of the Nazis were at the end of the war.
Okay, you want to turn left up front here?
Along Hitler's potential southern escape route, Mike, James, and their translator Katya prepare to make contact with Hans Fuchs, an expert on the history of the region, to determine where a secret cache of Nazi documents could have been stashed in the area.
Hello, Hans.
Kaltenbrunner supposedly ditching this cache of papers is a sign that he is trying to get rid of evidence. By its very nature, if he's got rid of it, that means it's important. Whatever it is, he did not want the Allies getting their hands on it.
So Hans, the reason we've come here is because we've got this document
that says that Kaltenbrunner, at the end of the war, hid a cache of important top-secret papers. My question for you is, what do you think the chances are of us being able to find them?
Also ich kann mir das vorstellen, dass der hier etwas versenkt hat von Kaltenbrunner.
He's saying he is absolutely positive Kaltenbrunner would have hid something in the lake. About 10, 15 years ago, people found his signet ring and his official stamp on the shore of the lake.
Right here.
Right here on the lake, 2 minutes away.
That's
Two
amazing.
items that are easily linked with him and were definitely found in this lake. That's major.
So, in your opinion, do you think there's still stuff out there in the lake? I mean, do you think this cache that we're after, do you think it could still be there?
So he knows things were sunk here, but these are not treasures. This is not gold. This is not anything with a commercial value. He's talking about documents. He's talking about maps.
This is exactly what we need to find.
This is gold.
Right. This is better than gold. And no one has disturbed it, so the potential is unlimited. It seems very likely that this cache of documents would be right here in Lake Altesee. If so, that opens up a whole new chapter in this investigation. Whatever's down there could lead us on to that next point in the escape route.
Well, somebody felt it necessary to blow this place up for a good reason.
Following Hitler's potential northern escape route, Lenny and Gerard are on the ground at Rechlin Air Base, where a declassified document places Hitler escaping from Germany 2 days before he was believed dead.
Even the big bunker busters the British were dropping at the end of World War II would have had a real problem getting through this. It's like a mountain.
Yeah.
The team investigates a demolished bunker where the Nazis housed their experimental aircraft at the end of the war.
I want to try to get down below if I can. There still remains of this bunker, even though the entire roof caved in. So if we can identify the types of aircraft that could have been here, we could dig up some pretty significant evidence to figure out what kind of plane Hitler could have used to fly out of Rechlin Air Base. Look at this thing. It looks like it goes right to the floor. Let me see if I can get in there. Hold on.
You sure?
Yeah, we got to see what's going on down there. You got your radio?
Yeah, I have.
I'll be on channel 3.
Roger that.
Holy. Wow. What can you see, Len? There's a whole lot of rubble down here. Mainly rocks, but it goes on for quite a while. Wow, look at this. This is where this thing came tumbling down and split right here. Oh my God. It's gotta be 15 feet of solid concrete. Hey, Gerard.
Yeah, Len.
There's so many holes in this place. I mean, I can see down further, but I certainly can't fit. I stumbled onto this one area. It was tucked away in a corner. It was a pretty significant size hole, but I couldn't fit in there. There were certainly spots where this concrete did not fall on, so some things possibly could have survived. I could definitely use a robot to get into these small areas where this rubble is.
Understood. Over.
If anything did remain from this blast, it's going to be areas like this. So it's extremely important to get eyes on this spot. What the hell was in here that these guys needed to destroy? That's the million-dollar question. Russell Fraser, my friend.
Hi, Lenny.
The next day, Lenny and Gerard return to the airbase, joined by Lenny's contact, Russell Fraser, who has access to state-of-the-art robotic equipment.
How far can I go with this thing?
You could go up to 90 meters.
Oh, that's plenty.
Okay.
The Delta Extreme Crawler is a remote-controlled robotic exploration vehicle equipped with an onboard high-definition camera and all-terrain treads. Its unique suspension allows it to navigate over almost any obstacle, giving its operator a visual picture of any location that is too dangerous to access on foot.
Let's go do our thing. That's gonna fit perfect, Russell.
Okay then.
Yep, got it. All right, here we go. After this thing blew up, Nobody was coming in here. To have a robotic pair of eyes like this, to be able to sink it another 15 feet where I can't get in, such a location no one has ever seen, unbelievable. You got visuals? You see it?
Yes, it's good.
All right, what do you got? Oh, what was that? Back up. Bottle or something? Yeah. Can we go a little further?
Still see the rebar and what's left of the ceiling, can't you?
Yeah. Still going down, huh? You gotta be down pretty deep.
What's that, Len?
I don't know. What is this thing?
It tilts up a bit.
Can you see this? Look like some piece of an airplane or some sort of equipment.
Aaron?
Look at here.
What's that?
So, das sieht aus wie ein Anlassmotor.
He says it looks like an airplane starter.
Von der Turbine der Me 262.
For the ME 262.
That's a starter motor from an ME 262. Wow.
Okay. The 262 is the most advanced jet fighter in the world. It is faster than anything the Allies had.
The Messerschmitt Me 262 was one of the world's first jet fighter aircraft. Introduced into the German Air Force in late 1944, it could accommodate 2 people at a top speed of 550 miles per hour, making it over 100 miles an hour faster than any other plane in the war.
To actually find tangible evidence that these things are here means it's possible. A squadron of Me 262s is flying out of Rechlin. They have training versions with 2 seats in them, but they've got rubbish range. 650 miles, if they're lucky.
That's fine. Who cares? Get out of here, you're out of here 200-300 miles with hopefully our target on board. To have that type of an aircraft here at Rechlin Air Base, what a perfect escape vehicle for a guy like Adolf Hitler to be in. This was an airplane that not only could defend itself, but could outrun anything. If Hitler himself was here and boarded one of these things, he was out of here in a hurry.
It's so hard to imagine this as being a hotbed of Nazis at the end of the war.
It really is. Along Hitler's potential southern escape route, Mike and James are following eyewitness testimony and a declassified CIA file, claiming that high-ranking Nazis were stashing top-secret documents in a lake after the war.
If this documents cache is here, this could potentially unlock the blueprint of an escape plan for every escaped Nazi of that time period. This cache of documents could bring us closer and closer to unlocking this investigation.
Their local contact, Hans Fuchs, has assembled a survey team and secured unprecedented access to search the lake.
If you try and put yourself in the mind of Kaltenbrunner, you just want to get rid of this stuff, don't you? So you're going to do it where you can do it easily. And that suggests that it's got to be closer to the shore.
I can clearly see along the shoreline there's multiple areas where a footpath comes down pretty close to the water. That's our search area. Access to this lake has been very restricted up until now. This makes it much more likely that something might still be here and that we have the best chance of finding it.
The lake covers nearly a square mile, so to uncover potential targets, they are armed with a yellowfin high-resolution side-scan sonar. Used by the U.S. Navy for minesweeping, this state-of-the-art technology creates an acoustic pulse capable of detecting objects up to 300 feet below the surface of the water.
Let's do it. So we're gonna move up to the point where we start our search grid here. We're gonna start 70 meters off the shore and map our way in. There's no possible way that we're going to miss anything as we're moving towards shore.
We need to confine our search close to shore. We know that when Kaltenbrunner went on the run, he went on the run very quickly. There wasn't going to be time to get a boat, go out into the middle of the lake, drop this cache of documents, then return to the shoreline and go on his way.
The team will execute a grid pattern search, working their way up the coast and outwards as far as 90 feet from the shore. One boat will survey with sonar, while the other drops buoys to mark any points of interest.
What we're looking for here is a case of some kind. One massive big metal box or something in which you would put a bundle of papers on which you know is going to sink. Mike, so we've started scanning.
Roger that, James. Are you picking anything up?
Not at the moment, Mike.
We just have to keep at it. What they're going to see on the screen is they're going to get the bounce back from the sonar. Right angles are always going to reflect better than anything else. So man-made objects lend themselves to being found a lot better than natural objects do. So if something is there and it is detectable, we will find it.
I mean, we're seeing absolutely nothing here at all.
Okay, let's see something.
Hold on, what's this? This looks quite interesting, doesn't it?
Look very interesting. Okay, look nice. It's high.
Okay, Mike, there's something quite interesting just picking up here.
We're looking at something that looks quite sizable here.
What do you got?
It's quite a large sort of rectangular object. I have no idea what it is, but it didn't look like rocks and they didn't look like trees. Just really, really stood out. And it could be nothing other than man-made.
Let's take a look. Oh, yeah.
It's a sizable object.
Those are certainly straight right angles on one side.
Worth diving on that?
Absolutely. Look at the distance from the shore, where the slope is. That's what we're looking for. Let's get to shore. We need to get this dive started.
This is huge.
Finding out what's here in Lake Altesee could potentially unlock all of the secrets.
This could be exactly what we need to find out definitively what happened to Adolf Hitler.
Next time on Hunting Hitler.
Can you see anything, mate?
This is incredible.
I think I see something. Some kind of metal.
Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure that's an Iron Cross.
The Nazis were able to shed their identities and freely travel just about anywhere in the world.
What is so important that you still need 15-inch guns?
He don't want to say it, but he thinks it's about special weapons.
Nuclear weapons.
That's massive.
This is a space. This is a hole right here. I see a room back there.
This was their chance of making the Fourth Reich a reality.